All right, welcome back to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton, joined in person again by SYP creator Scott in our secret SYP drinking headquarters.
This is the drinking.
Again, this is on Malcolm Road in Squamish, just past the intersection to go up to the Highlands. If you just go to like the next complex over, that's essentially the building we're in. It's the secret drinking headquarters.
Secret.
Very secret. So secret, I give out details all the time. That's how secret it is. Scott, welcome back. Were we here last week?
We were here last week, yeah. It feels like a long time ago. A lot of shit's happened in those 7 days. 8 days, 7 days, yeah.
But the most disappointing thing is that you haven't slept in a twin bed with me because we have twin beds in this room, but Scott hasn't taken the opportunity to stay over.
No, I've have a good setup over where I am, and you know what? Sometimes it just happens.
I mean, you're sleeping on the floor at your place?
It's a comfy floor.
But you don't want to sleep in a twin bed in the same room as Big E.
No. Of course not. Well, I mean, depending how intoxicated I am, it might be the only option tomorrow. So.
Okay, fair enough.
But we'll see what happens.
So pretty much, Scott, we're here to do our SYP End of the Year Awards, our 2021 awards show.
Yes, we are.
I invited SYP creator Keith to take part in this, and he said no.
He said no. Well, you know what? It happens sometimes. You know, people are busy doing the things, but you know what? We're missing one of our guests from last year, but it'll be a great pod anyways. It'll be fun. Do you
remember how fun? Not fun. Fun's not the right word, but how entertaining last year was, just doing it over Zoom. And, you know, we thought the world would be at a better place, and 2021 was going to be a great year. Like, things are going to open up again.
Exactly.
And they have, to a certain extent.
Yeah, it depends where you are, but...
Where you are, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big fact. Depends where you are. And, again, 2020, like, that podcast was probably the highlight of my winter break, excluding World Juniors.
At least there was a World Juniors tournament last year. At least there was
a World Juniors. What a great segue into what we're talking about.
This is why I get paid the big bucks. So let's talk about the 2022, World Juniors Championship. That was canceled Wednesday because how do I put this? The IIHF and Hockey Canada don't know how to organize a tournament during a pandemic.
I don't think it's less of their fault. It's more of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 that's causing the issues.
Sure.
The organization of, we saw last year in peak, what was at the time peak COVID, they could run a tournament in a bubble effectively and things would be fine. But this year, just with the variant, with how the restrictions were in Alberta, it just didn't work. And
what restrictions? I will say they did have 50% capacity.
That's my point.
They did announce that later on.
The fact is, I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways to look at this and to see like how the women's U18 tournament was canceled. Some of the other tournaments that have been canceled, you know, women, men, doesn't matter who's playing. Like they've been, you know, some of them canceled, and this one, because it makes the most money, went on as should have, and then it got canceled during the tournament because of the virus. And like, why wouldn't either, you know, two options here. One, why wouldn't you put it in a bubble and do what you did last year because it works during a pandemic? Or two, just cancel it out or postpone it until a later date. I think postponing would be the best thing to do.
That kind of felt like the best option for me when they announced about the U18 women's tournament being canceled / postponed, because the wording of this has been very peculiar. Yeah,
peculiar.
Yes, because of the fact that
you're drunk.
I am drunk, but also because of the fact that it sounds like with the World Juniors, and it kind of sounds like with the women's U18s, but less so. It sounds like they're going to try and reschedule this.
I hope so. They should. They really should.
They should. I'm not opposed to rescheduling, to giving a fair opportunity to those playing. But everything in this last week just seems so poorly managed, poorly executed. odd. Like even I don't know if you heard the story in Red Deer about how the hotel that at least the American, I don't know who all was staying at this hotel, but at least the Americans and I believe the Russians were staying at.
Right.
There was also coinciding a wedding, and there was people mingling and going around through the hotel.
I read that it was actually the Slovak team.
The Slovakian
team was it was, I'm not sure which hotel Red Deer, but I heard that as well, which again you would have never gotten that last year.
But it's also like we're gonna have a story on the Slovakian team probably next week out on SYP.com, on speakyourpiece.com.
True.
We're gonna have a story out on that. But it just seemed like everything, like a lot of things, like with like how we've seen hockey being run in the last 18 months, it just seemed like everything was piling up all at once.
Yeah.
Like it was the Murphy's Law of like if everything that could go wrong in an event in a tournament did go wrong, that's how this World Juniors tournament was.
But again, here's the thing with the whole situation is that only 4 players tested, or maybe it was 6. Like 6 players tested positive, and they had to cancel. I mean, again, like I said, there's several ways to look at this. And again, only 6 players test positive, whereas last year half of the German team tested positive, yet they still were able to play the whole tournament and things ran fine. For the most part, there were a few things that were not great, but point being, I don't know. It's bizarre for sure.
It's bizarre, but again, it's like anything right now, and I've said this I'm probably on previous podcasts of like, there's no right way of doing this. Like, I'm not upset if they decided to continue the tournament.
Yeah.
With what it was and with all the cases and whatnot. Like, sure.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm not upset that the tournament is canceled. There's just no right way of doing this.
Right. No, there's not. There's not at all.
And I do feel, on a small level, a bit of sympathy for those who are organizing this.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of time and effort put into this tournament to make it happen, to make sure the players, the staff, and everybody involved is safe.
Yeah, it's a huge process. And again, there's so much, sure, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, we'll talk about players, coaches, and team officials later, but there's so much pressure on the organizers, especially being the importance isn't even the right word. This maybe spectacle of the tournament and how there's so much history and there's so much prestige. That's the word I was looking for. Prestige behind the tournament. And it's hard to like make it as good as the year previous or the year, in the years past, right?
Well, and I think there's also something to be said for last year's World Juniors was played behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And I think people were okay with a one-off of the World Juniors being behind closed doors. I think people were like understanding and accepting of last year, like we couldn't guarantee safety, but this is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And so this year you come into it, you were hoping to have full attendance. You were hoping to have a packed barn in both Edmonton and Red Deer, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen at the start of the tournament either.
Not at all. It didn't happen for any of the tournament.
So and I think there's a bit of public pressure and probably pressure on organizers from the public, from sponsors, advertisers, whoever is putting money into this, who want a full, things to go back to normal, a full barn, big TV ratings.
True.
And
just fans in the building. I think that's what the players, several players talked about it. They missed from, especially like returning guys, Caden Gooley's another guy that comes to mind here. Like he talked about really missing the fans in the Edmonton bubble, which is because, like it's great, but you're just missing that extra added layer of, oh my gosh, I'm playing on home soil in front of this packed crowd, and you get all the energy from it. And even like international players coming from other places were like, okay, this is really cool. This is like the pinnacle, possibly the pinnacle of my hockey career, going to the World Juniors and the tournament that it is. It's you got to feel something for these guys that have put in all this effort, and just for this to happen again, which is it's terrible.
So they're talking about doing this tournament, trying again. after July, after the NHL season is over, and maybe then you can get like Lucas Raymond involved in a tournament, or you can get a Quentin Byfield, or maybe even Brant Clark makes the team in July because he didn't make the team in December. But
true.
I want to know what your thoughts are on the World Juniors possibly being played in the summer, and if you think I know you think they should try and go for it again, but is there a right time to do a World Juniors again?
Man, like, again, something about doing the tournament at Christmas, it's like, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. Every year Christmas rolls around, I'm like, I'm watching the World Juniors. That's like, those are like part of my plans every day during the holidays, no school, no nothing.
Just watch Austria play Switzerland in the middle of the day, and then, mom's just like, hey, are you going to do some laundry? It's like, no, Mom, I'm watching juniors. Bugger off.
Yeah, Mom, priorities. I got real priorities here. But no, it's I will say for the players, I think, again, it's hard to do that because, again, you'll get guys like Cole Perfetti who can't even play.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's a January 1 birthday. So he'll be 20 years old by the time that turn the German when July, so he wouldn't even be eligible. So it's one of those. Yeah, I guess maybe doing it in July is the best time. Think about it like this: they have the summer showcase in the summers normally, right?
In Plymouth, usually.
In Plymouth, and it's usually Canada, U.S., Finland, Sweden.
Yeah.
So put it in that time frame. That would be my, like, if it had to be played in the summer, put it then. So instead of the summer showcase this year, get the World Junior Tournament.
Because I don't think you can do it, at least between now and the Mem Cup.
Not a chance.
Like I don't think that's fair to junior teams.
No. And even like guys from their own league teams and like for going to the playoffs and it's like
that's not fair. That's not fair to those teams who are involved. And
exactly.
I know I am a bit biased because I work for one of those junior teams, but at the same time, I wouldn't be happy if I was a Vancouver Giants fan and Fabian Lysell
and Justin
Sordiff were playing at the World Juniors in the middle of May in Edmonton, and it's going to be Edmonton in May because the Oilers aren't going to be in the playoffs by then. They're going to be eliminated. Or if Pavel Novak is not playing for the Rockets and the Rockets are trying to make a playoff. Like that would be frustrating for me.
Absolutely.
And again, it comes back to I don't think there's any right way of doing this.
No, there's not.
There is no like. I'm not upset if they tried to go for it again in July. I'm also not upset if they just decide, hey, we can't do this in the summertime. We're going to try and go again in Russia in 2023.
It would be, like the heart of Siberia.
Yeah. Like, I'm not upset if they tried to do that again. Because there's no right way to do this. And this is
it just sucks. It just sucks.
It sucks. And this is far out of the control of the people who organize the tournament and the people who run the WIHF.
Yep, agreed. It is.
I do take the I don't know why, but I do take the WIHF's word in talking about how COVID is why we can't have some of these tournaments, like the women's under 18 tournament. I do understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I don't understand why you can't make an effort to reschedule that tournament 3 months down the line.
Yeah, agreed. And I agree with that. And again, but it's the whole thing, like you make a promise, we'll reschedule it for March, and then it can't happen. It's one of those, like, it's a big debate. And again, at this point, who knows how close we are to the pandemic being over per se, but it's right. And that's the biggest, the biggest X factor here is the uncertainty of the world right now and where we are in this climate. And it's just it's difficult. It sucks. It just sucks for everyone involved. And like you said, like there's no right way to do it.
And who knows? No one knows what the future has in store. When we did this podcast a year ago, we thought that we would be...
I was thinking by mid-July we'd be good to go.
Yeah, we'd be wide open and everything would be all fine and there wouldn't be a problem. We're all getting vaccines. We're all going to get back to normal. This isn't going to be an issue. Yep. Now in BC, we just posted another daily record of new COVID cases.
Yeah. 4,000, I think. Just over 4,000 cases.
Yeah. So who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, true.
Who knows? What are you doing to occupy your time now that is it just playing pond hockey?
Yeah, I've been part of a hockey camp last couple of days, so I was busy doing some work there. And then just hitting the pond with some fellas and playing some hockey, getting some good cardio in. We've been on the ice. I think I've skated. I
think we did 3 hours on
3 hours on Tuesday and then 2 and a bit on Wednesday.
For you.
For myself, yeah. And then I think grand total, I've skated like 15 hours, 12 hours in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's good. It's good for the body, good for the mind, and it gets me out of the house, right? So
I don't know. So if you notice my lip here,
okay,
it's actually just a bad zit.
Oh, really?
That's gone poorly. I'm just gonna say I took a puck to the face, or I took a stick to the face. Because,
sure, that's valid.
For all the kids who are watching, moms, cover your kids' ears. I don't skate with helmets on the pond.
No, it's a toque. No,
it's a toque.
Toque's the move. If you wear a hat, fine. But
if you wear a hat, it has to be a backwards hat too, and it has.
Does it?
I think it does.
Really? Okay.
Because you kind of like, not you in particular, but I think just in general,
right?
If you wear like the hat especially if it's like a CCM or Bauer, like if it's a hockey specific hat, that kind of makes you look like a preppy rep player, if that makes sense. Not like
there's an argument there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But like, I don't know if I have my silver tips hat here, but if I had my silver tips hat, like my trucker hat, I would have that backwards.
Backwards, okay.
And wear that.
Right.
But again, I'm also the guy when we play pond hockey who's wearing jeans and the old school Squamish Eagles jersey.
Yeah, you're a jeans guy. I can't believe that.
Is that a pond hockey foul line?
The Squamish Eagles jersey? No.
The jeans are?
It's questionable. It's
I didn't wear jeans when we played pond hockey.
You didn't. That's true.
I wore it when we played at the rec center.
That's bad.
Is that bad?
That's worse. I think jeans on the pond is better.
That's actually fair. Yeah.
I think it's better.
But it's not good. So then, should I have wore full gear when we went to Brennan Park?
Well, ideally, yeah. But you don't have full gear. So.
But you didn't wear full gear.
When I wore tracksuit, it was different.
Oh, it's okay.
Different.
I'm not a big track. Like, I don't have the figure for a tracksuit. I think it's my problem. Like, again, not to flex on cam, but like these legs are not tracksuit legs, if that makes sense.
You still squat 3 plates?
maybe not. So basically, we've been doing that, occupying our time. We might live stream on Friday. So if you listen to this, we might do something on Friday. We might. What are you doing tomorrow?
Playing pond hockey.
Well, yeah, but afterwards, like, are we not gonna?
Well, maybe we'll chat after.
Sure,
we'll chat.
So if by the
stay
time,
tuned. Stay tuned.
So by the time you listen to this, there might be an announcement for a live stream on Friday.
We might also do Saturday selections. We should do Saturday selections.
I think Saturday.
We should.
I think, yeah.
Bring in the new year with Saturday selections.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think we can do that.
Okay, down.
Actually, I think we could do like a New Year's Eve selections, but I mean,
we gotta do it now.
We gotta do it now as we record.
Yeah.
And then
No, we'll post the January 1 selections. It'll include the Winter Classic, so stay tuned for that.
Maybe the Silver Tips game against the Winter Hawks?
Yeah, we could throw that in there. That'd be good. Yeah, that'd be.
Maybe we'll even do like an NFL, because I'm going to the Seahawks game on Sunday.
We could throw in the Seahawks game and just extend it to Monday.
Well, why don't we just do like I'll do Sunday selections.
No. I'm just saying, like, we'll post.
We'll do Saturday
and
selection.
Include the Sunday football game, and then
let's do. Okay, this is really bad potty, but like, let's do the Saturday selections, and then you can do the Saturday selections. I'll do Sunday selections for like football.
Done. There you go. See, viewers, we're making plans on the spot. Look at us go.
Look at us. Who would have thought? Yeah,
right.
Teamwork.
By the way, this podcast is brought to you by Stella Artois, the best beer in the world from Belgium. You know what it is. Ian's loving this. It's a great time for a podcast. Let's do an award show.
We're going to do the award show?
I think we should do the award show.
So how we did this last year, correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, we gave out 3 awards each.
Yes.
Which included an athlete we gave the award to.
Yes.
We gave it to a creator.
Or a guest.
Yep. Okay, creator or guest.
Yep.
And a celebrity.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Or other. I said other.
Or other?
Yeah.
Okay. So last year, correct me if I'm wrong, I think for my athlete, I did Lewis Hamilton.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Sounds right.
I think for my creator, I picked Rav, because Rav is a hard worker and he's contributing where he can.
Great guy.
Shout out SYP creator Rav. And I think my celebrity last year was Taylor Swift.
Really?
I feel like that's right. And I feel like that was also the wrong choice because I feel like Taylor Swift has had more of an impact this year.
Taylor can almost be in the running this year.
So let's break this down here. Okay.
Sure. Yeah,
let's go by athlete.
Sure.
I think if you want to go with the recency bias pick, you can make an argument for Connor Bedard.
You could, yeah. He had 4 goals in the game against Austria. He had 6 points in the tournament. Real recency bias with Connor Bedard. And let's not forget he's 16 years old.
Yes, that's part of it.
He can't even drink one of these.
Can he drive?
Not without a parent in the front seat.
That's awesome. And he's scoring 4 goals for Team Canada, the juniors. I think you can make that argument for Connor Bedard.
Yep.
Tom Brady, you can make that argument for Tom Brady.
He's in it every year.
He's in it
2001.
He's in it every year.
Yep.
I think you can make that argument for.
I'd say Giannis.
Giannis is a really good argument to make.
Yep.
F1 wise, you can go with Max Verstappen.
Yeah, I would say Verstappen for sure. McDavid, but McDavid's
but McDavid's like the McDavid and the Mike Trouts are in it every year. Those guys are just so good at what they do. They're in it every year.
Yeah, but again, 106 points in 56 games. Like, come on.
That is really good.
That's really good. In this NHL, it's ridiculous.
Austin Matthews, you can make an argument for Austin Matthews. I think.
Sure, you could.
Maybe not a great one, but I think you can make the argument for him.
If you have a heavy Leafs bias, he'd probably be your pick anyway. But
possibly that is
a little bit of foreshadowing,
maybe.
We'll see.
So that's kind of who we female athletes. Christine Sinclair.
Every year though. I would Julie Grosso scored the game winner.
Yes.
Gold medal winner.
Marie Poulin.
Marie-Philippe Poulin, another gold medal game winner. Okay, let me just tell
you. She had multiple game winners against the U.S. recently.
That was an absolute, the one in the Women's Worlds, absolute snipe.
Yes.
Like, you could not have placed a better shot.
I don't know if you can include him as an athlete of the year, but Bruce Boudreau for making the Canucks good again.
I would put him in celebrity because he's a celebrity, and I will say Bruce Boudreau rocks a hell of a tracksuit. So if you don't think you can rock a tracksuit, you're wrong.
So that's true. So that's our athletes who I think could be in contention.
Everett should get you a Everett So Tips tracksuit. That would be so. Are you kidding? That would be so sick. Like all green fit. You'd look like Will Ferrell.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I would love that. I'd probably wear that every day. Honestly.
Halloween costume next year. Say less.
Celebrities.
Yep.
Taylor Swift has to be in the running.
Taylor Swift, yeah. My pick was The Weeknd last year. He can almost be in it this year too.
Super Bowl. He had a great Super Bowl halftime performance.
Unreal.
So you can put him in there.
Yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo, or was she born 2020?
I'd say her album came out in 2020, but I think she took real prominence in 2021.
Sure. Okay.
For sure.
I mean, Pete Davidson.
We'll talk about him later.
Okay.
He's coming up. Don't worry.
Okay. Could you make I'm trying to think of other celebrities who I think like should get an SYP award for.
I don't want to say much.
No.
I've got some good ones though.
I'm trying to think of like who's all been like the problem with like the entertainment news is that like it passes like by so quickly. I find
it can. Yeah, it tends to sometimes. Yeah.
Because I mean like. Yeah. Pete Davidson kind of rocks.
That's your opinion. He's good on SNL. Let me tell you that for free.
Is he the only reason you watch SNL?
No, Key and Peele. Key and Peele are elite.
They're not on SNL.
No, but they've done stuff on SNL before, have they not?
Possibly, but like they're not regular. Okay.
Anyway,
we're getting out of it here. Contenders for our SYP Creators Award. Creator or guest award.
I don't, because there's not many, so I want to let's leave that. Let's just tell people who.
Sure. All right. Fair enough. So
who do
you want to start with?
Let's start with athlete.
You want to start with athlete?
Because there's a lot of ways we can go with this one.
Okay.
Am I going first? You go first.
You go first. Okay. Athlete.
So my athlete of the year, we talked about Austin Matthews and some recency bias. My pick is Trevor Egress, and there's 2 reasons why. Let me tell you, there's more than just his Michigan pass goal, potential goal of the year.
The Michigan,
yeah. That's maybe not the best goal of 2021, but one of them. Like the McDavid goal against the Rangers was up there for sure. He also was the World Junior Tournament MVP, which was a big thing. And I don't know. He's just so good for the game, and I think he might be in the running for a couple of years. But Trevor Egress is my athlete of the year. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
What? Why are you laughing? That's a good. You cannot deny that's a good pick. I'm sad my Canadians lost in the World Juniors last year, but he was pretty much the reason why they did. So I'm not mad about this pick, and he's on time. So
I don't hate the pick. I think it's kind of weak. I think next year we need to do a SYP Young Person Award of the Year, because that's where he more fits in. Is like under 25.
And under a Rookie of the Year, maybe.
Rookie of the Year. There you go.
We're having a new category of Rookie of the Year.
We'll do that next year. So that's where I think Trevor Egress fits in more. I don't hate it. I just think Egress fits in more there. My pick, I think you're actually going to like this one. I'm going to go with Damian Warner.
I do like that pick. That's actually a great pick.
The decathlon gold medalist in the 2022 or 2020 Winter Olympics or 2020 Summer Olympics. Damian Warner.
He literally is the best athlete.
That is literally here's the thing. I think the decathlon is literally for pure athletes.
Yes. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Like
you gotta be good at everything.
You have to be good at everything, which is what an athlete is. The definition of an athlete is like the decathlon. Now, I'm not saying like Connor McDavid couldn't try out for a decathlon and maybe wouldn't do well in it.
He just hasn't trained for that.
He hasn't trained for it. But like Damian Warner, who literally did everything you're supposed to do as a decathlete.
Yeah. Decathlete, that's right.
And won fucking gold at it. And like a Canadian.
Won gold, yeah.
Won gold in that.
I will say, my athlete year, I was about to go Andre DeGrasse, and I probably should have.
The other guy I think we should mention too is Alphonso Davies.
But he was my pick last year. I didn't want to pick him again.
That's fair.
He was my pick last year, and he did rip it apart. But again, he has been this year. He's been a huge part of Canada.
He's almost been more because of what he's done in Canada.
Oh, 100%. But I'm just saying in 2020, he really rose prominent with Bayern Munich, and they won literally everything in Europe.
You want to do celebrity or creator next?
Let's do creator / guest.
Okay. So, creator plus guest, I think is a really interesting conversation. It's not Keith, because Keith's not here.
No, it's not. Yeah.
But I'm going to go... This isn't an easy pick because I love all the people who have done work with us and who have made their contributions.
And there's been a lot.
There's been a lot of people. Yeah. There's been a lot of people this year, and I'm very grateful for all the support that we've gotten. I think I have to go with Alex Fujimagari.
Really?
SYP creator Fuji.
Okay, yeah.
For his work with the NBA and doing some basketball talk with us.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, he
great pick.
He's been very helpful in terms of here's the thing. I don't hate people who are like, no, I can't or whatever. Like he's been very cooperative in trying to work working like trying to find times that work or find stuff that he can do or find topics to chat with. Sends me a whole bunch of stuff that he's like, this is really cool. You should take a look at this or this might be to your liking.
Absolutely.
The engagement, I guess, is
Fuji's great with the engagement and just he's so knowledgeable about basketball.
Yes.
Like I wouldn't know a thing. I'm the hockey expert, and that's all I'm good for.
Yes. And
I run Saturday selections, but that's about it.
So I'm gonna go with Fuji.
Fuji's been great.
Fuji rocks. Love Fuji.
Yes.
He's
our hookup at Norman Rudy's, by the way.
Our hookup at Norman Rudy's. Yeah. Shout out Fuji.
Go try his food. It's very good.
He's actually a really good chef. Like we've talked about this about some of the stuff because he actually has some say over the menu at Norman Rudy's.
Oh yeah.
So like Very interesting with some of the stuff that he does there.
He knows his stuff, yeah.
Knows his stuff. So I'm gonna go with Fuji. Who's your creator / guest?
My guest of the year. He's a guest.
We probably should make this another category too. Maybe we should add the categories next year and add a creator / a guest, or a creator and a guest.
No, I think keep it together.
All right, fine.
Maybe we should change it from creator / guest to contributor.
There you go.
There we go. That's better. So my contributor of the year is Jevin Lefebvre. He runs the Left Side Heavy podcast. Great guy. Go check out his stuff. I don't know about Ian, but I personally met him last July. We went and played Furry Creek with his good buddy of ours at this point, Brandon Goff.
Brando,
yeah. Great guy.
I think that was the first time I actually met Jevin in person too.
Exactly.
We just had classes online. And we chatted back and forth. Before that, but we never actually met in person.
Yeah. So, anyways, the fellas and us, we went and played golf, Furry Creek, played some hockey, watched the McGregor Poirier 3 fight. One of the best days of the year for sure.
Highlights of 2021, no doubt.
No doubt about it.
That day.
That day. And again, those are two great fellas. And Jevin was really, he came on several podcasts, and he even filled in for me a couple of times, and just a great guy to chat with. And he's really good with his hockey, of course, but football and just everything. He's like Ian 2.0. They're both unreal, and he is my guest of the year. So shout out to Jevin. We got to meet up soon and go play golf again. Go hit the pond too.
We're thinking about doing a football podcast as well with
nice.
Hayden Barton too.
Yeah, good friend of Jevin. So
we're working there. Other people I think we should mention. We're gonna do a Bachelorette podcast, I think, in the new year, or a Bachelor podcast. So the girls have been great. It's been awesome doing podcasts with them, because they bring a new element, a new curveball to this podcast that I'm not used to.
Absolutely.
Throw a little change up in there.
I will say also another podcast that was really interesting and fun, another, I guess, a little sidetrack, but highlight of the year, at least for me, was in May when we did our podcast with Jasmine and Eliza.
That was fun.
That was a great podcast.
And we talked about you girl bossing.
I am girl boss. What can we say?
You are the SYP girl boss.
I guess, yeah, sure. Anyways,
and the last one I want to mention another. Not that just because I mentioned these people doesn't mean I hate other podcasts. I want to throw that out there. Yeah. But when we talked about Tanner, that was a really fun conversation. Oh, I want to do that again.
Dude, yeah. Tanner. Tanner's guy, I met him in second year. One of the smartest people we know.
Yes.
Ever.
Objectively, one of the smartest people I know.
There's no bias at all. If you talk to him, if you have a conversation with him, you will be like, holy, this guy is smart. And he's the best part about it is that he doesn't even seem to know or care. He just just do my thing.
This is obvious. How come this is what he does?
Oh, not even that. He's just so down to earth, just a great guy. Yeah. I don't know, it's hard. Gotta love the guy. Yeah, great referee too. He's done some BCHL stuff, so shout out to him.
He really cool, really fascinating personality.
Yeah.
Finally, our last category, celebrities.
Celebrities, yes.
Would you like to go first?
I would like to go first on this one.
Sure.
Yes.
By the way, in case people don't know, we haven't talked about who our winners are for the award. We're literally just coming into this cold. We knew we were going to do an award show. We knew we were going to do an awards podcast. We knew what the categories were going to be, but we had no idea about who our picks were. So this is all just coming literally out of the blue now.
I was scared with the last one that Ian was going to pick Jevin too, but I'm happy you did. Because we can talk about Fuji as well, because he's done some great work. And all of our other guests have been awesome. My celebrity of the year is Kanye West.
Oh boy.
Yes, here we go. So you talked about Pete Davidson earlier.
Speaking of which,
that's the whole thing. But I want to talk about Kanye West's contributions to the hip hop and the rap world. His album Donda, I think, is one of, if not the album of the year, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of great songs on that album, and the first 4 or 5 hit nothing else. Hurricane, Off the Grid is in there. Even Moon Come to Life as well.
Donda Chant obviously is.
Yeah, that's Ian's favorite, Donda Chant.
I listen to that every day.
That's your alarm in the morning, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, you wake up.
Donda when I wake up in the morning. Yeah.
No, and honestly, Kanye West hasn't been like he's been obviously a very notable celebrity and a guy that I've listened to his music, but I haven't really gained the appreciation for him like I have this year, and that's partly why I think he's my celebrity of the year, because he's, again, such an influential figure. But personally, for me, I haven't noticed his impact until this year. So, yeah, and I'm also happy that him and Drake squashed their beef and they had the concert in Los Angeles, which would have been epic to have been at, and yeah, that's why he's my pick.
Okay, all right. So I was gonna say Pete Davidson.
Oh, you were. That's funny.
Because that dude's hilarious. I'm not gonna say Pete Davidson though. I'm gonna go a little different way.
Okay.
Can I give a tie?
Yeah, you can give a tie, sure. Why not?
I'm gonna say it's Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Again, this is just Ian giving Taylor Swift love because of what she does for everyone.
And your former hatred of Taylor Swift.
And my former hatred. I am now turning into a bit of a Swiftie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say like who's really influenced me in becoming a bit of a Swiftie. But at the same time, I think it's got to be Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber.
That, to be honest, that is like the last combination I expected of this man's mouth. Really?
Yes.
Wow.
You know why?
Yeah, bring it. Tell me why.
Tim Biebs.
You're joking.
I'm not.
You're kidding.
Do you know how many people, especially in America, ask about Tim Biebs?
Oh, you're joking.
I am not. That dude is.
Are you serious?
The other thing I want to mention. So,
they're not even that good.
No, I know, but it's not even the beat. Like, here's the thing: no one cares about Timbits. No one cares about the actual Timbits. People just want the merch, and they just want the toque, or they just want the tote bag. They don't actually want any of his food. Nobody cares about food. They just want merch. So
said no one ever. But
no,
okay.
No, you don't understand marketing today. But the thing with driving today, I was charging my phone, so I didn't have it plugged into my aux cord because I had to charge it.
Sure.
And I was listening to the radio because what else? I'd already listened to all my Nirvana and
because you don't have Bluetooth, so.
Well, and I already listened to all my Tragically Hip and Nirvana CDs on the way down, and I listened on the radio today, and someone said. My 2020, I don't even know what channel or who said this, but my 2022 prediction is Justin Bieber will be a father. And I did a spit take because I was like, how old is Justin Bieber? Like, this is still like, and like
he's mid to late 20s.
I guess. And then it's just like, how long has this dude been famous? It's like, oh yeah, he was 17 when he wrote Baby. And it was just like, right. I guess that makes sense. This dude's like famous for 10 years now. How old am I? And
do you have a guess of how old he is?
How old he is now?
Yes.
He's 28.
That's very close. 27.
Yeah, okay. So like he was 17 when he wrote Baby. Like
it's 10 years ago.
That's 10 years ago. And I'm just like, where is the time gone? So getting back to my original point, I think it has to be Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber are my tie.
Let me tell you, if we did this podcast 7 years ago, maybe was it longer?
No, that's right.
No, if it was about 7 years ago, those two names would have been at the very bottom of this list.
Yes, but Ian with his being on Ian in the digital age, and Ian expanding his friend group.
Your horizons. How about that?
Expanding my horizons.
You know what? Cheers to that. Cheers to expanding horizons.
We're making progress.
Exactly.
That's who my picks are for the SYP Celebrity Award of 2021.
I like it. Those are good picks.
So to conclude, Scott went with Trevor Egress as his Athlete of the Year. I went with Damian Warner. He went with Jevon Lefebvre at Left Side Heavy as his creator/guest of the year. I went with SYP creator Fuji. Celebrity, you went with Kanye West. Do you I was gonna say with Kanye, it's a really fascinating choice.
Why do you say that?
Well, because there's a lot of people who hate him.
He's a polarizing figure. Like
that
doesn't make him a bad person. He's just a polarizing figure. That's like
That's not wrong. And then Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber are my picks as a tie.
There you go. I will say with Kanye, just because he's a polarizing figure doesn't mean he makes bad music. His music was very good. Donna was great album.
The question is, can you separate the music from the artist? That's the $1 million question. That's
a question for another podcast.
That is a question for another podcast. I didn't put a mailbag out, so there is no mailbag.
I didn't either, but
I think otherwise we're doing well. And is there something else that you want to chat? Winter Classic? Did you want to chat about the Winter Classic?
Yeah, we can mention it quickly. Just do a quick little preview. I mean, the NHL just kind of started back up after like a week.
Doesn't it feel like the NHL is like blindfolded throwing darts at which games are actually being played and which games aren't?
A little bit, yeah.
It's just like, okay, Carolina, Montreal, you're on tonight.
Yeah, a little bit. It's bizarre because some of the Toronto Pittsburgh game was postponed.
So.
But the Canucks and Anaheim game was not.
So, but here's the thing. So, correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Now, every game that's supposed to take place in Canada up until the 8th or 9th of January is now postponed because of capacity restrictions here in Canada.
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. But again, they're gonna move the games to the Olympic break because now that's not happening.
But hold on a second here. So we have what? 3 weeks off at the winter break?
2.5.
2.5. So that means you get what? 6 to 8 games in?
Yeah, you could.
That's a really like you have to really thread the needle to make all that work. I feel like.
But that's 6 to 8 games per team.
That's what I'm saying.
That's very doable.
Is it?
I think
February?
So. 6 games? If it's 10 games, that's borderline.
I feel like it might be possible. 10 games if we keep postponing stuff.
Agreed.
Agreed. Here's the thing. We have to this is just assuming that we're all going back to normal by January 10th. And we're not.
Or the 18th, which is unlikely. I agree.
We're not. It's just not happening.
They're not. Well, you never know. They might flip a switch. That's
not in this province. They aren't.
Maybe not.
We're not in this province. We're not going to be changing restrictions until the end of January.
That's a reasonable statement.
So, at what point then? I'm wondering. By the way, this is really good Winter Classic talk.
Yes.
But at what point do we just either? I'm not going to say shut down a season. But, like, I wonder if they move Vancouver at some point.
Like, move them to, like...
Portland?
I guess you could, in theory. But, again, like, I don't... Like, again, you got to move 7 teams into the U.S. And that's not easy. Like, you could... Like, for Toronto, you could do it with 1 team. Like, for the Raptors,
sure.
Right? Or
with 7.
Just put them in Tampa. Like, you can't do that with 7 NHL teams. It's just not possible.
But like, because this is the question, and again, we should do another podcast on this.
Yeah.
But at some point, it's like you the math doesn't check out. I feel
it doesn't.
And I don't know how this is gonna work. And I'm curious. I'm not saying this isn't possible. I'm not saying it isn't gonna get done. But like,
yeah. But I know I agree. There's a good point to be made there. But again, part of like I said before, I always say this, but there's always several ways to look at things. And part of me thinks that you're right. Like we won't get, a shutdown or we won't get restrictions lifted until January 31st. But it could also be the opposite. By January 31st, everything could be open. We just don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
And that's like off the top, I said, talk about uncertainty of COVID-19. And this is part of it. How the sports world's been affected. And that's actually one of my main stories of the year that I've got here. But it's causing issues for everyone, and hockey's especially difficult because we have to deal with so much international travel per se.
So is there any other stories you want to mention on there that you want? I mean, we're going to talk about the Winter Classic.
No, not like there's a few things, but I just don't think it fits. Like, I mean, I can mention a few. I'll just list off a few that came to mind for me.
Sure.
We'll talk about
Max Verstappen winning the F1.
Verstappen winning F1.
We're still trying to get an F1 podcast here soon.
Eventually, just get Justin hold on that.
We'll get Justin. So with sidebar here. So with Justin.
Yes.
because like basically there's a group chat of myself, Justin, and I don't know if you know Patrick, but Patrick's been on the podcast a bunch.
Know of him through the podcast.
He's in SF. He's at SFU.
Right.
City boy. Really nice guy.
Right.
And there's a group chat for all of us.
Sure.
Mostly with F1 racing.
Sure.
And I said to Justin, like, hey, let's all come up to Squamish and we'll all go. This was pre-snow.
Right.
Let's come up and let's go like hike the Chief or something. Because Patrick's like, that would be great.
Right.
Go hike the Chief. That'd be.
And
really
you're gonna
cool.
go hiking James, right?
I might, spontaneous. And Justin's like, I can't hike.
Sorry, what?
Justin says, I can't hike.
He can't walk up a hill.
Can't hike.
Okay.
And so I'm like, it's
okay.
not that hard.
Like, fair enough. Like,
sure.
Some people can.
Sure.
Anyways.
But it's kind of like, okay, can't really do a podcast unless you come hike the Chief with us, right?
Why not? You can. We've done Zoom pods for a year.
No, but I mean, like, come on, like, go hike.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Go hike the Chief with the boys. Let's do a
I get
podcast.
it. Yeah, that's fair. Like, we can't go play golf and then go watch the fight. You can't watch you gotta do both. You can't do one or the other.
Going all the way. So
exactly.
We'll see if we can get an F1 podcast with Justin and Patrick in.
He needs a selection to win. He's been not happy about not winning selections.
He has been kind of choked, but like I think what some people don't realize about selections is that like there are people who played selections for years now.
Yes.
And
like over 2 years.
Over 2 years. And we've done selections for like 3 or 4 years now.
3.5.
3.5. And like people have been playing for 2 and they still haven't won.
Yeah. It happens. Well, it's tough. It can be tough though. It's
literally luck.
There's a bit of skill in picking. Like a record doesn't necessarily reflect what a team or players can do. Like there's been games where two people pick a team and that team wins.
Yes.
Out of 45 people.
Sure.
So you're right. There's a lot of luck to it, but some of the fights, if you kind of know what you're doing, you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You know
if you know like UFC, if you have a bit more.
Yeah. Like if someone's like, let's say 24-7 and then 31-4, that person that's 24-7 might actually be a better fighter.
Are you going to get into more UFC in 2022? Is that your New Year's resolution? Is covering more fighting?
I don't know.
I would love
it's not because it's not New Year's Eve yet, so I haven't thought of my resolution.
I would love to see a character transformation of Scotty K, who just becomes like a mixed martial artist / boxing correspondent.
A lot of people around me are into the UFC, and I will say I've learned a bit just from watching fights and from doing selections and picking some of the fights.
I would be a lot. Not to say that I'm not interested. Right. I would do more coverage if I wasn't busy on my Saturdays.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's hard when they fight Friday sometimes, but mostly Saturdays.
Yes. So, and I guess what the other thing I was going to say here. So, any other stories that you wanted to throw or discuss on the end of the year podcast?
Just to sum it, not to be biased, but the Canadian national teams have been epic. The men's soccer and the women's hockey. Sure. They're the two that come to mind. Men's soccer have a chance to go.
That might be like pound for pound one of my favorite stories all year.
I think it's in the top 3.
Yeah.
Of like if you rank top 10 stories
for Canadian.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Just sport in general. Like I guess Canadian sports would be the ideal way to look at it.
From our bias because we're in Canada.
Of course, yeah. I would say top 3, if not the top story of the year.
Sure, and I think that's. I think that's one of my favorites, considering how throughout our entire life, the women's team has been phenomenal.
They won gold at the
Olympics.
Yeah.
And the men's team has been, to put it nicely, dog shit for most of our lifetimes.
Yeah. Well, they haven't been in the top 100 of FIFA rankings really ever until like 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And now with thanks Alfonso Davies, my athlete of the year last year. He's played a big role, but there's also been other guys. Jonathan Davis played a huge role as well. He's on is it Barca? He was on Lille in the French league, but I forget where he is now.
I'm not the soccer guy.
Anyways, the men's soccer team has been huge, and again the Canadian women at the Olympics, and then also the Canadian women at the Women's Worlds, which I mentioned briefly earlier. But just the Canadian national teams have been just so good.
And even bringing a cliche, the Canadians men's national team started really poorly at the World Hockey Championships this
True.
past year.
Yeah, very true.
And led by Darcy Kemper and Andrew Mangiapane.
I believe that.
They won gold.
True.
Let's talk about the Winter Classic briefly because I already said it.
Yep.
The Blues play the Wild on New Year's night.
Yeah, that's right. That's typical.
I think the day is. I mean.
Gotta do nights under the bright lights. There's nothing like playing under the lights.
Yeah, but I feel like with the Winter.
Nothing like.
No, I get that, but I feel like this is the Winter Classic. If you're trying to replicate the pond hockey aesthetic that the NHL is trying to go for here, you do it during the day.
But is it more of an outdoor rink or more pond hockey? It's more of an outdoor rink. So if you play ODR with the lights, nothing like it. In the trees, think about it. I mean, it's not in the trees, but the point is.
In Minnesota, it probably is in the trees.
There's trees at Target Field, right? In the bullpen.
I think in the
they should just plant trees in the outfield.
I think in the batter's eye there might be trees at Target Field.
Maybe you're right.
So we were talking about this pre-podcast. I actually really like Target Field. Like I've said it before.
Yeah.
I've said it before. They were going to do the Winter Classic there. I said that I think Target Field is one of those places I'd love to go see a game. Just a baseball game.
A baseball game. Yeah.
A baseball game. I would love to go see a baseball game.
It'd be pretty cold playing ball at -20 or -30 in Minnesota as it is.
Sure. There is no trees. And there's like a little grass, kind of like Cincinnati had a great American ball.
Yep.
There's kind of like that little center field.
Right. Yeah.
Green patch.
Yeah.
Target Field is cool. You remember? I don't know, 5-6 years ago when Yoenis Cespedes, when he at the home run derby, and he was like crushing bombs.
He lit it up
at like left field at Target Field.
Was it Target Field?
Yeah, it was. It was Target and City Field.
It was City. That was right.
He had back to back.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is arguably been the crowning achievement of Target Field was
Cespedes home run derby.
Poor Minnesota.
The Twins have played a couple playoff games, and that's their crowning achievement.
Have they ever played a playoff game at Target Field, though?
I think they've played one. They made the wildcard game.
But I think that was at New York. Okay.
Oh, you're
right. Fun fact. I'm on the Target Field Wikipedia.
Yeah, bring it.
What is the record attendance event at Target Field?
Like in numbers?
In a record attendance. Just how many people, what's the biggest crowd at Target Field? I don't think you're going to get it, but you're going to laugh when I tell you what the actual event is.
I feel like the total capacity is 50,000. It's going to be low. So like 15? No. Is it like really high?
Higher.
Really?
Quite a bit higher than that.
Oh, shit. 120,000.
No, not that high.
80,000.
Much lower than that.
What?
Much lower than that.
45,000 people.
44,152 people is the record attendance at Target Field.
Okay.
Apparently, the capacity for baseball is 38,544.
What?
Yeah.
Was that the record for a baseball game?
It was not. Do you want me to tell you what the event?
Yeah, sure.
That was for a Kenny Chesney concert at Target Field.
That's funny.
In July 2015.
That's funny. Wasn't even for go for baseball, and it wasn't even the record was even for baseball.
No.
That's pretty funny.
In 2010, ESPN, the magazine, ranked Target Field as the #1 baseball stadium experience in North America. I think with baseball,
because it was just built.
Pretty much, yeah. But I think, like I've said this before, with ballparks, I just love to visit. I think it would be awesome to go see. Target Field, PNC Park in Pittsburgh, even though the Pirates suck.
It'll be a sick park.
And it looks like a really sick park, like especially when they show the downtown views of Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah. Launch a ball into the Potomac River.
Pretty much. Yeah. And then is it what's it called in San Francisco now?
Well, it was AT&T.
It was AT&T, but I don't
now
know.
It's like is it? Oh God. Oracle Park. That's what
I think yes, that sounds right. Yeah. Oracle Park. I'd love to go see a game there. That would also
I'd love to sit in a kayak and catch a home run ball.
That would rock.
Be highlight of my life.
Who's your pick to win the Winter Classic?
Blues are gonna win 4-2.
Blues will win 5-2 according to E. I actually really like the Blues this year for whatever reason. I think the
Blues are nice.
The Blues are kind of sick.
They're kind of nice.
Thoughts on? Have you seen Winter Classic jerseys?
No. Maybe they were released a while ago.
Yeah. The thing with Winter Classic jerseys, I feel like, is so the Blues jersey. I don't know if you've seen it. The Blues are wearing white, not white. They're wearing cream, and then the Wild are wearing these green jerseys.
Yep.
I think with the Blues, I could be wrong, but the Blues is kind of like a reverse of what their like third. Not a reverse, but like it's kind of similar to
their third jerseys.
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of. I would honestly, the Flyers. I think it was their 2012 Winter Classic.
Yeah.
They look the exact same, just with their colors. It looks very similar.
That's probably true. And then the Wild have looks like a throwback to like it's maybe like a 40s type look with like,
it looks like a sweater. It looks like
yeah.
You know, like when hockey jerseys were like sweaters.
Yeah.
It looks like that. I think the Blues jersey's cleaner, to be honest, but they're both okay. I've seen way better jerseys.
I think
to be honest.
What would you rather? Would you rather have the Blues jersey?
Oh, 100%. I'd put. Who would I put on that? I don't even know who I'd put on that jersey.
Jordan Binnington, of course. Jordan Kyrou might be your pick.
Oh, I would say Robert Thomas.
So that's actually probably more your pick. I might like the Wild. I think I would take the Wild jersey more. I think that's like
throw a Kaprizov on it or Kaprizov.
That might rock.
Kevin Fiala.
Apparently he's on his way out. There's some trade rumors for Kevin Fiala. They were doing some like Fiala.
Well, they're sellers.
Well, they were doing some Fiala for Besser rumors. Before.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That was funny though.
That's ridiculous.
That's definitely somebody in like Minnesota like organization. Like, yeah, we might take Brock Besser for Kevin Fiala, and it's like.
But was that pre or post Boudreaux?
That was pre Boudreaux.
There you go. Yeah.
That's really all I got for this podcast.
I will say that was a good pod.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a great pod.
Any final notes, any final thoughts before we head out here?
All I'm gonna say is I hope 2021 was interesting. Let me just say it was interesting, and the fact that we're still in a pandemic sucks, but I am very hopeful and excited to get to a new year and hopefully pandemic free for the most part. Hopefully we just get 2 years of COVID, and by the time March rolls around, we're done.
I don't think it'll happen, but.
Well, you're pessimistic. I'm optimistic.
There you go. Because I'm feeling 2022. Am I right?
Okay, Swifty. There you go. Confirmed. Ian is a Taylor Swift fan.
That's the podcast. We're gonna be back next week. Hopefully, we do the F1 podcast next week.
Dude, we're back next year. Come on.
You're like those. I think I've talked about this before. You're like that asshole who's like, remember when we do parties till like 2 a.m. And then there's always the one person who's like, oh, I gotta work I gotta work tomorrow. This sucks. And then there's always the one person like, you mean you gotta work today?
That's me?
I don't think that's you, but that's kind of.
It depends on what state I'm in. Let me tell you that.
That's the kind of mood where it's like, oh, you gotta work today. It's like, shut up. No, it's tomorrow. It's whenever you wake up again. It's tomorrow. Okay. Unless you do the all-nighter, in which case it's still technically tomorrow.
It's still technically tomorrow, yeah. You know what? It depends on what state I'm in. I agree. I have done that before, but it depends on the state I'm in.
So next week, we will have... do you want to pod again next week?
I'll be back in Kelowna, but yeah.
We'll do Zoom pods again. At least one, maybe 2 podcasts. I'm traveling quite a bit over the next few days.
Yeah, you got a busy schedule.
We'll make sure to get some content from Lumenfield, from Angel of the Winds Arena.
It's a good rink. I've played there before.
Yes, you say that every time I bring up that rink, you talk about how you played there. I don't know if I've skated on that rink, but I've definitely walked on that rink multiple times.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, definitely. There you go. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being a part of this. 2021, as Scott said, was an interesting year. Who knows what 2022 has in store?
Hopefully good things.
I have at least 2 things I think that we're going to be doing tomorrow, or not tomorrow. 2 big events that we have planned for 2022 with Super Bowl and Stampede.
Yep. I
think it's 2 things that we are planning for.
Yeah, planning for sure.
But in a way, while we're all, at least somewhat myself, kind of anxious as to what the new year is going to look like and what it all will be, I do thank every one of you for showing your support, your appreciation, and taking your time to engage with us, being a part of Speak Your Piece. I really can't thank enough people. Thank you to Scott for taking the time to do this, to be a part of it. It's always great when people ask me how SYP is doing. How's the brand going? Yeah. That was a great podcast.
I get that a lot too, and it's really fun.
It's really fun.
It's a fun question to answer, actually.
And you know, things might not be where you think they are, or things might not be as far ahead as you want them to be, but in the end, I'm just grateful to be able to do this, to be able to take part in this.
Yeah.
To be able to provide just a podcast and just in content for people.
It's always a great conversation starter, and it's just to be able to do this. It's just a lot of fun, and it's something. Again, this brand has been mostly involved with. We've done a lot of our stuff.
We do a lot of different stuff.
Exactly, and again, to my point, we've been doing it a lot in the pandemic, and that's been something that, for me personally, has helped a lot, and just keeping some sort of entertainment. And it's all for me, it's great as a listener, but also I do a lot of these podcasts. I'm on here a lot, and it's fun. It's fun doing them, and it's fun being a part of it, like Ian said. And it's as one of those frequent guests, I thank you for all you've done. It's been fun watching you. Again, part of this is your career. For me, it's not really, but again, it's a lot of fun watching you grow and develop and change, and kind of take the stuff you learned from here and apply it to the Silvertips, to apply it to WLA, whatever you're doing. And that's really fun. It's fun for me to be a part of, for sure.
To see me involved from being a popular music hater to now a Swiftie.
Yeah, what the hell? Who are you? Who is this guy?
It's incredible, but again, I can't thank everybody enough. I always say that there's more stuff on the way, and there is always more stuff on the way. It's just a matter of doing it and finding the time to do it, to put it out there and to get it done. And, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for your support, if it wasn't for the creators who take the time to do this. I thank you very much. A great 2022. I wish to everyone best of health, best of safety. And I look forward to doing more in 2022. And I think we all look forward to a new year, a new start, a new change.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much again for listening. Thank you for your support. It's greatly appreciated. We'll be back again next year.
So we'll
be back soon. Peace out.